Hello YouTube. Today I'm doing a trying to be quick overview of my Indianapolis Pokemon Regionals. Just a tournament run, the results, the matchups. I guess my very first day two, so my best Pokemon result ever, even though it's just 203rd out of almost 2,000 people, so not too bad. I'm choked. Um, a good start, but obviously the better you do, the more strong opponents you face. So yeah, and I recorded all my matchups on my phone. So yeah, I have some notes here and there for the first time since usually I don't do that. So yeah, first Raging Bolt. Why did I choose Raging Bolt? Well, it's because ever since post rotation in April, pretty much been literally building so many decks, building a different bunch of different decks and pulling up to locals and whatever every week, a couple times a week with just different decks because it's pretty fun to play different decks, even though don't really learn all the intricacies and stuff. It's just fun to play different stuff all the time. When I first started Pokemon, T Dragon built me a Dragon Ball deck. Well, we built together because I kind of wanted a deck that would last post rotation, but little did I know I would be interested in playing so much other stuff because I don't want to be bored and it's fun. So, yeah, I just ended up having a bunch of different decks, and pretty much, I guess, when I found out I was going, like 2 weeks before, I was like, I should lock in the list. And yeah, it's like I like playing decks with the Teal Mask Kangaskhan engine because it's nice. Ugrafon's my favorite Pokemon. Um, Lots of playmaking with the Iron Leaves, the Energy Switch, and yeah, I just settled to Raging Volt because one, I never played it in person before, so luckily I got to test it out at a cup, which I went 3-3. Got to test it out at locals, which I went like 2-2. So not good results, but they're just practice, IRL practice. So I didn't prep too much overall because Indianapolis, I just wanted to prep some best of three matches for NAIC, which at the time of recording, it's pretty much in 2 days. So yeah, I wanted to win North American Championships. Obviously, I'm trolling because I have never even won. I've only won one super small competition before. Not really a competition, just went 4-0 at locals and never really won any cups, not even top cut a single cup, not even won a single challenge. So, yeah, but I just like to think that I can win because in Pokemon TCG there's so much luck involved that it's possible. It's always possible. So, yeah, I just prep for that, but this this result was pretty good to the point that I'm not really that hungry for an NAIC result, like a North American Championship result. Not as hungry as I was before, because it's like, yeah, realistically, like, will I even get top four to make it to Worlds? I don't know, but maybe, hopefully, I would do. But it's just a solid tournament. And it's like, so that's all I can ask for in my Pokemon career, since I do plan to start Riftbound soon and not really be as in, not play as much in the future. But yeah, wow, already like 3 minutes in, just rambling. But yeah, you can skip ahead if you want specifics. Just giving a backstory of why I played this and all that stuff. So, set up on Raging Bull, I saw online that it has a pretty solid matchup into Dragapult, which is pretty much like the deck S tier deck that like uh, the most by far the most popular deck. So if it's a good matchup into Dragapult, it shouldn't be too bad of a deck overall. It loses to single prizers, but it also counters a lot of two prize decks, or it's good against like Teal Mask is good for Garchomp, Dark type decks, Zoroark, and Raging Bolt can hit big KOs, so it's going to Mega Lopunny. So yeah, that's why I chose that. And yeah, let's the deck list. I have more details in my deck list video that I posted like I think June 1st ish. But one of the main techs is just swapping Cyrano for a boss and cutting a stadium for some other stuff. Um, yeah, start the matches. So yeah, first was against Dragapult Dusknoir. It was it was a win-loss win. I started out with the win, and then I could have donked with Wellspring actually. But I prized my one water, so but luckily I had a good start, so ended up winning that. Game two, it was close, but um it was close. I just couldn't disrupt because he had a hard time finding energies for his Pokemon, so I couldn't really disrupt him, or at least I could have disrupted him, but I couldn't. And the thing is, I only found out until the ending, I guess, game three, um, to uh, oh, he jet headbutt with Candy Pulp. But the thing is, the jokes part is that I ended up, yeah, I bellowing thunder on Badoo, and then he had a Candy Dragapult, but he couldn't return. He could only jet headbutt, so I had Teal Dance, Meowth for Crispin, Glass Trumpet for a benched Kang for, um, yeah, so I pretty much blew. I just was able to get a return KO on Dragapult, but he scooped after. Um, even because he prized his other Dragapults apparently, and he couldn't recover it because he uses stretchers. But the thing is, he had Watchtower. I had no Latias in play. I had, I think Kangaskhan active and all that. So I had no energy on board. So he could have made a comeback technically, but I guess he couldn't get another attacker up. And I found out he had a Duskull because he couldn't bench them or use them because I guess my deck just went too fast and couldn't set it up. He could have, if he dropped a Watchtower, he could have stalled probably to tie, but whatever. I'll take a win. And that my pretty much like all three regionals that come in, I started 1-0. I won my first game for all of them, so that's pretty cool. Game two against Dragapult, Hammer. It's just a standard list, nothing too special. Played Risky Ruins, the Dunsparce build. Um, it's a win-loss win again. They had a really bad start, so they scooped. They were thinking of mind bending, but I guess they just had a bad start, so they just scooped. Game two, I bricked so hard I had to burst roar twice on my active raging bolt. that was so funny. And it was a decently close game, but they had boss for game because to clean up multi-priced multi knockout turn. Um, Game three, they were pretty lucky they were able to get Badoo out because um, I could have Wellspringed and got a really nice turn off of that. But prize mapping was nice. They whiffed Stamp and yeah, I clutch Crispin top deck for with my Clefairy on the bench for a return KO. Um, yeah, I just pretty good that game. Crushing Hammer is really annoying, but I won 2-0, so that's my first time starting a regional 2-0. Next match was against, I guess, Clefairy Box. Not sure what. I think I might have seen it online, but I saw Petrant and Baby Petrant and Passimian. This was really scary for my Kangaskhan. It could easily one-shot it, but luckily in game one they were pretty greedy. I think they had a Munkidori, and then they were able to Adrenabrain, then E-switched their Kangaskhan, and then bossed up I think a Bench Meowth, or just bossed something up, and rapid fire combo for knockout. But then I stamped them and they bricked the rest of the game. So I was pretty easily clean them up. Um, I've had a nice hand for energy, and I was able to Raging Bolt KO the Kangaskhan, stamped in nothing, and then add more Crispin and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty nice. Game two, they only had a Petrant start. They were not able to find Pokemon to put out, unfortunately. So, um, yeah, so I pretty much, for my turn two, I just Cypher Kangaskhan active, so I just Cypher, had an E-switch to switch off a grass for my Ogerpon, and yeah, it was a donk, he got unlucky. But I guess when I went second, my turn one, I prized my only Cyrano by Lilies, and I got it decent enough setup with the Lilies to get this Kangaskhan into Petrant KO. That's 3-0, and I was pretty surprised. I was like, damn, 3-0, like I've never started that good before. Never even did that good. Like 3 wins, like damn. Like even in the locals, I don't think I've ever, like I've only strung together 3 wins in a row like once. So yeah, game four against Festival Lead. That was pretty scary. I was scared because Festival Lead's like a one prize deck, and Raging Bolt is really bad into like one prize deck matchups. But somehow, it's a weird game one start. I think I had Teal Mask and a Raging Bolt in hand. I I I started Teal Mask active, but I should have started Bullet active since I do want to get aggressive in this matchup to try to win the prize trade and all that. Since they do need like Black Belts, Brave Angle, a bunch of cards to get knockouts into my bigger basics like Kangaskhan and Raging Bolt. So so I should have started Raging Bolt knowing that I had a Crispin in hand, so I could easily load up the active, load up Teal Dance onto Raging Teal Mask and just start knocking out from there. But I started Teal Mask, so I had to Teal Dance and then retreat off of that, and then Crispin, and then Knockout. So I had one less energy to work with, which somehow worked out because even though they got good setup, I got Kangaskhan active to set up a knockout, and then I had a stamp in hand, so I was able to pretty much you win this matchup with hand disruption, and very likely they can't really come back from it. That's my experience personally, and I was luckily able to cipher and get a Wellspring knockout the next turn, and I was just way too far ahead because I already knocked out so much of his key resources. And game two, he bricked pretty hard. I had a turn one Kangaskhan attack, so yeah, I tried to attack as fast as possible, and Kangaskhan into act was pretty good. Usually, as a response for Kangaskhan attack, they this I guess the two festival lead players I did play against use Seeking. They rapid draw, so they draw four, deal 120 to my Kangaskhan, and then they could pretty much get a Diplo knockout the next turn with a really solid hand. Um, yeah, they couldn't return KO after my Kangaskhan knockout. I just kept bossing their Thwackius up, and they couldn't recover. So I think it was a 6-0 in terms of prizing. So yeah, two straight 2-0s. I was pretty happy. 4-0. Like I just need like four more match points in order to advance to day two, which I didn't think was possible. I didn't think it was happening, but yeah. And yeah, next one, this guy apparently came third in seniors a couple years back. He's really good. Had really good results over the last couple of years, and he beat me. He was playing and the Andrew Hendricks list because I guess he was in the Henry Chow Discord and they collaborated. So yeah, it's pretty much a Henry Chow follower. Pretty standard stuff. Fell too far behind in game one because of Crushing Hammer. Pretty much my only chance was to land my third heads on rapid fire combo because I couldn't get any of my other backup attackers going. Unfortunately, only got two heads on rapid fire, so just missed a knockout. Might have been in a better spot with that since they needed a lot of resources to claw back with the knockout. Game two was decent, but they set up a six prize turn, and couldn't really Crispin anything nice. For turn one, like in retrospect, I could have Cyranoed for Iron Leaves instead of a second Teal Mask and get a quick knockout. But I think in this matchup, yeah, you do want to just get quick knockouts, even though you might get just pray don't have stamp, just get quick knockouts because just get a if you're like two prizes ahead before they start attacking, you're in a pretty good spot since you do have a couple pieces like Clefairy and Raging Bolt to knock out Dragapult. But yeah, 4-1, I was pretty sad. It's like, damn, I might choke this 4-0. Like I'm so close to day two. Lucky in the next game, I was able to get a win. This is a really unique list with Handheld Fan, Watchtower, 3 hammers. Yeah, it was a weird situation with my opponent needing to re-sleeve and all that kind of stuff, but just got a warning. We started late, but luckily it was a 3-game set. We were able to finish well ahead of the time limit, even though they gave us like an 8-minute extension. So that was cool. Game one, I got destroyed by Moltres. It was just like a Moltres on a Teal Mask, and it was an easy time for him to set up 4 prizes. Like even though I think I was able to get Wellspring to knock out Moltres and like someone on the bench, it was just like I was already kind of behind. Not the best setup. Um, yeah. I think I could have rapid fired onto Dragapult, but couldn't get the flips. He bossed up something for a 4 prize turn, and since Moltres got the first 2 prizes, it was GG's from there. Yeah, so I was pretty scared. I was like 4-1. I was a 4-1 record. I choked. I lost this first game. I choked. I guess did bad in my last game. Choked the first game. Like got to win 2 more. Kind of. Game 2 was a bit more standard. In terms of like me getting ahead of the prize trade, that they weren't able to disrupt too well. And I guess they dragged it out a bit longer when I had a super dominant position, but they ended up yeah, so I tried a bit longer. We still had so much time, so it was fine. And I ended up winning that convincingly. Game 3, they bricked early. And for me, I pretty much only attacked Kangaskhan in active, which was pretty solid since it was beefy and they couldn't really do much to return. I was able to swing Kangaskhan for a few prizes. I think they bossed up Wellspring for 1 turn since I set up on the bench and it mind bended it. But I wasn't really planning to Wellspring because I already had Kangaskhan charge up, so I kept swinging with Kangaskhan, and then yeah, I just needed a Meowth for game because I just needed to boss up their. I was quite ahead. They didn't have nice setup, but I was still scared because it's game 3 and like Dragapults are so good at comebacks. So I ended up. They bumped my stadium. I only have 5 on the bench, but I needed Meowth so I could boss their Meowth for a game. So luckily I was able to top deck a stadium, get Latias with Ultra Ball so I could retreat to Kangaskhan. And then I pretty much had a boss missed me out. I double E-switched onto my Teal Mask on the bench, and I guess they didn't see it coming, but 5 energies on Teal Mask, it would knock out their Meowth for game, so that's pretty solid. 5-1. Kind of guaranteed day 2, depending if opponents wanted to ID or how well I did next. So yeah, that was that. It was 5-1. I was pretty solid. Got to win out if I want to be on stream and stuff, or make it to top cut and stuff. But yeah, next game ended up tying. It was pretty standard Dragon Ball Hammers list. Yeah, ran a judge, risky ruins to the Dunsparce, and game 1 I just got destroyed by Hammer. Couldn't set up and couldn't take quick prizes. Yeah, so I pretty much only needed Crispin for game. I had a Clefairy, I had Raging Bolt set up, but unfortunately they got Crispin, so they were able to charge up their next attacker. Game 2 was a bit troll. I don't know, we took quite well for this game, but I took some prizes with Kangaskhan. Not the best. I didn't have the best memory, so I didn't track down too much, but I was down to 2 prizes. I was very far ahead. They didn't have much set up. They were just mind-bending my active Kangaskhan. And I needed 2 prizes left. It was pretty much overtime, 3 turns. So I could have, I don't know what to do. I could have like tried to coin flip and get the Munkidori, and then I don't think he would have had anything to follow up, and I could have. But I decided to retreat my Kangaskhan to get it out of confusion, and then in the next turn, if I get boss, I could boss his Meowth for game. But they bossed back on my Kangaskhan, mind bended again. So it was like the very last turn of overtime. If I needed to win this game in order to tie the set, so I make it to day 2. Otherwise, I'm 5-2. So I pretty much bossed Meowth, and I could top deck a stadium for Iron Leaves or so many different options, but I top decked boss, so the only option I had was boss Meowth and coin flip my confusion. And luckily, got heads. Kangaskhan one-shot Meowth, and I was able to tie the set. So I was 5-1-1, qualify for day 2. I was pretty happy. I was like, damn, finally a coin flip went my way. I don't think I took a single prize because once my dudes were damaged, I Chen Powed away. Yeah. So I was 5-1-1 game. Next game, oh, that was so jokes. It was against Low Pony to Dunsparce. I played it once in locals, and I was able to win that because I had like double rate, like Raging Bolt can knock it out so nicely. Cause yeah, I just needed 5 energies, which sometimes can be hard, but raging. They didn't play a single volleys the entire match because of that. But game one was decent. I was able to Bellowing Thunder. I was able to get, but they kept bossing my two prizers to one shot. And unfortunately, I did have game with Koraidon because they knocked something out. I could have used the first attack, which does pretty much 170 and weakness, one shot low pony, but they bossed my Latias, so I didn't have a way to retreat my active Kangaskhan. I had everything except for the retreat for game, and I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, shoot, because I pretty much announced like I have game with retreat Koraidon for knockout, but they were like, no, I can't retreat. I'm like, shoot, embarrassing. Game two was a bit more dominant, so I got things set up. I had like three prizes left, and man, I made a really nice play with I think I was able to triple E switch. I was able to triple E switch two fightings and I think attach return or something onto my Koraidon. And I think I bossed a low punny for game because it did 200 weakness 400, so that's a one shot and a nice setup. So I was able to get to game two. Game three was a bit back and forth. Um, I had a horrendous start with just Kangaskhan. So I was pretty much draw passing. They assault landing with their Rotom, then they pretty much could donk me next turn with a Gale Thrust. So, but I stuff in hand. I bent the Latias, so luckily I wasn't able to lose. And then because I had just energies and just a bunch of random stuff, so I couldn't really do much. So Dr. Kangaskhan was down to three prizes with just a Latias on board. But because of unfair stamp, because of a bunch of other um, cards, I was able to somehow recover a Crispin and like Glass Trumpet, and I was able to, I just got super luck. Was able to return knockout on the low pony right away and disrupt them at the same time. And yeah, I think I was able to take a fourth prize. So I had two prizes left. He ran a Moltres, so he was able to take out my Teal Mask for five prizes. I had one prize left. The Moltres active, and I pretty much had game the next turn because I had a bunch of cards. I was able to run errand. I got Glass Trumpet, I got E-Switch, I got Wellspring, I got Water Energy. Pretty much had everything. I had a Kangaskhan in hand, I had a Meowth in hand to Glass Trumpet into. So once that happens, I can Glass Trumpet and an E-Switch energies into Ogerpon. They had a bench Dunsparce, they had an active Moltres. Moltres is weak to Wellspring, so I can take two prizes off of that. So I pretty much had game. Except when I played my Glass Trumpet, I only had one normal type on bench. I didn't bench my another Kangaskhan. I didn't bench a Meowth. I could have. I didn't, and I was so embarrassed. I said, I think I have game, and I was like, oh shoot, I missed it. I obviously no takes backsies. So I pretty much had like one energy on my Wellspring with water. But I knew they had like no switching, so I could just Saw Block Moltres, and then if they don't evolve something on the bench or something, I could just Glass Turn next turn, E-Switch, and just get them for game. They don't play Disruption, so that's pretty much what happened. Just embarrassing. Um, yeah, because Kangaskhan had a bunch of cards, and I was able to luckily Cypher and Fez at the same time, so that was pretty solid. And you know they could boss anything with the Moltres. Nothing's weak to fire. No more Teal Masks on the bench. So I was able to. So they couldn't win the next turn, and I was able to win. So that was good. Ended phase one, 6-1-1, which was really solid. I was pretty happy. Just need a win out in order to make top cut. Fortunately, ran into a really good opponent next round. He finished 14th, and yeah, the other guy lost to other Dragon Ball player, finished 32nd. So tough competition, and he had a lot of really good results during the season. So it was a really good opponent. Another Henry Chow 60. Um, yeah, Henry Chow, Andrew Hendrick stuff, standard list. Not much to be said. Yeah, it was just a pretty tough matchup. Uh, yeah, game one I literally drew Latias and energy and useless stuff. Couldn't even get a Pokemon. I guess the second turn of Ichipon I kept Ultra Balled, but there was just nothing in my hand, and he just kept Badooing, had Dragon Ball set up, and just won. Game two was a bit closer. Crushing Hammer did troll me as always. Um, yeah, could have had game if I had like Area Zero and Clefairy, but yeah, I just didn't have the stuff. That was annoying. Just dominated. So that was pretty much the end of Saturday, and then on to Sunday, I was 6-2-1. I was like, damn. Hope I can win more games. That was I was against Festival Lead again. Um, and this time I dominated game one, just like how I dominated this my third or fourth game. It was dominating game one. I was like, nice, got it. Was able to disrupt them after the KO with unfair stamp, so it was quite dominant victory. Game two was a loss. I couldn't find stamp, unfortunately, and maybe attacking with Clefairy turn two, I felt like it was the right move because I just wanted to be aggro, but because Clefairy's 190 HP, they didn't need to find as many things to get the return KO. But I think they had Secret Box and a bunch of other resources, so whether it's Raging Board or Clefairy, I'm pretty sure they had knockout. And yeah, I guess game three, there was a little time left, so we ended up drawing. I was able, he got into the lead. I was able to unfair stamp, then Cruel Arrow, the active next turn, but there was no more time left, so we tied. He was pretty chill guy. He just gave me some tips. Like I guess I was playing a bit slower than a lot of people would have liked. Not like super slow, but like just a tip, I guess, to not be that slow. But yeah, um, yeah. So that was 6-2-2. Next game was against my very first Raging Bolt matchup. Um, yeah. It was with the Noctowl build, which was interesting. So with the Passimian, which is quite scary too for an easy knockout on Kangaskhan. Game one, he quickly scooped because he started Raging Bolt active. He had like Hoot Hoots on the bench. He had to like Burst Roar, I guess, turn 2 or turn 3. But he had no Terra to get the Noctowl out, so I pretty much had turn 2 Clefairy, and pretty much Clefairy had enough bench people, and it was able to one-shot the active Raging Bolt. And then I guess he scooped after because he had nothing. Game 2, I had a Meowth active start, so it was pretty bad. But I luckily drew another Meowth, so I was able to get like the Cyrano to get my pieces set up. But game turn 2, he had um he pretty much bossed my Meowth with the Kangaskhan rapid fire combo for knockout. And yeah, I pretty much had Raging Bolt as well. So luckily, I had enough energies on board with Crispin and other energy manipulation to get the return knockout onto Kangaskhan with Raging Bolt. So I was up 3-4 in prizes. Then he had a Clefairy. He drew out a stamp, and then he was able to get Clefairy loaded up and not return KO'd my Raging Bolt. So now he was down to like 2 prizes. I had and I knocked out Kangaskhan, and then to return knockout Clefairy, I had I got a Kangaskhan back to return KO. Luckily, I think a double class trumpet play. I'm not sure, but I was like, if he has Passimian set up next turn, he could just one shot any of my Kangaskhan back in the game, or if he sets up something else and boss something else, could have game. But luckily, he didn't. So I was down to 1 prize. He had like I think 2 prizes left. I had Kangaskhan active loaded up. I guess he had nothing, so he saw blocked my bench Meowth. I think with 1 more turn, he might have been able to get something else. But luckily, due to the prizing, I was able to 3-2-1 prizing because of the Kangaskhan Clefairy. He needed Noctowl, so it was pretty easy to just I had everything I needed in my hand that game. Even though I got stamped, I was able to Fez, run errand, and get all my setup pieces back. So it was really lucky, and I had Iron Leaves in hand when he saw blocked. I was like, damn, GG's, because Iron like that's why I play Iron Leaves, just because like in dire situations you could just pretty much move it. Stop the retreat lock, so I Iron Leaves, bossed up with Noctowl, and had game, and that was a really good one. That was a 2-0. Next one, man, that was a bad one. A single prize matchup. I was 7-2-2, so I was like, maybe I could finish off the day with 9-2-2. That'd be awesome. But against this deck, game one, I was just losing the prize treat so badly. Like, man, the Venture Bombs are so annoying. This Baby Blood Moon was so annoying. Just one shots, pretty much Kangaskhan, but pretty much anyone, especially when you got Monkador and a bunch of other stuff. This guy ran Crispins, just runs a lot of stuff to just be aggro or just, yeah, it's just so annoying, man. I just couldn't win the prize trade. Game 2 was closer. I'd stamp, but unfortunately drew out of the stamp, got a Blood Moon back out, and just return KO'd. Drew the lilies off of stamp. So yeah, that was pretty sad because you need a lot of pieces to return KO, and he found it. And yeah, the last game I kind of want to squeeze out. Last one could have made top because I had a really good resistance because of like this guy. They did so good, so I had really good resistance overall. So if I won my last one, would have been top 128. Got a booster box instead of 18 packs, but ran into Crustle, which is pretty sad. Yeah, couldn't really do much. I didn't run Passimian. I Koraidon. I gambled on the fact that there's no way I feed Crustle, and I did. And I knew the guy destroyed me in Seattle Regionals with Crustle again. This time ran Ghost, so I was down to one prize the first game because I was able to Torrential Pump turned one luckily and took out a Dwebble, but he had another Dwebble, and yeah, just sad. I tried to play for deck out because he played like 4 lilies pretty early, so he couldn't like refresh. But I guess he had 4 boss, so like he was just waiting there with his boss, and I was just retreating my dudes that were damaged. I had Chen Pao, Night Stretcher to Chen Pao, etc. to just clear my bench, and but yeah, he could have easily finished the game a lot faster. But yeah, it's pretty sad. It was pretty much an auto lose. This one was a true auto lose, unless he prized 2 Crustles. So if he prized the third one, would have been better. But yeah, that's pretty much the recap. Um, Solid result. To be honest, like 7 games. I've never won that much in my life. That was good. I guess part of the expectation during the tournament was that I wish I could make it to a stream game, which had a chance at the beginning, but fizzled out towards phase 2. Yeah, for NAIC, I'm not really. I really want to make top 4 to make worlds, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like after this result, it's like, wow, maybe I'm a good player. Maybe I got super lucky this weekend. Maybe I don't know. It's just weird. I don't have the desire to be super OP, or at least I don't really want to play Raging Bolt because it's a bit. I played so much during this time. I was like, should I play it again? I don't know. I don't like NAIC is like in 2 days, and I don't even know what I want to play yet. I already submitted Raging Bolt, but I don't know. Like my list is kind of scuffed because I just made a bunch of random upgrades, downgrades, side grades. But yeah, this was pretty much my Seattle or Indianapolis regionals recap. Thanks for watching. Was good. It was good. It was a lot of disappointing losses, but it was to good opponents. Like I lost the 2 Dragon Balls I lost to were to 2 opponents that were really, really, really good. So can't complain about that. But yeah, I think I played really well. Misplayed a few times, but overall I think I played really well. So that was cool. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.